Hello, I'm Griffyn Gilligan, the Access and Wellbeing Officer for Devoted and Disgruntled 2021, hosted by Improbable. So Devoted and Disgruntled is this weekend. It goes from Saturday, February 6th through Monday, February 8th. There are also some kind of induction orientation sessions on Friday. So what I thought I'd do is just offer you all a couple of top tips, a couple of invitations for how to best enjoy and feel supported during the event this year, especially because it's on Zoom. And for those of you who have been before, that's a new thing. And we've run a few events in the series Time for a Respare online, but we haven't had the annual D&D completely online before like this, so it's a little bit new for us too. So what I've done is I've just put together a few tips for you all, and I've kind of based them off the 5 principles of open space. And if that's something you're not very familiar with, feel free to have a look online on the event page, and there's resources there kind of going over them more in depth. I don't cover the points in depth here, but I name them and I've used them as a little bit of inspiration for the tips I'm going to offer you today. All right, so the first one is the principle of open space, which is whoever comes are the right people. So I'm just going to invite you to think about who you want to be in the space. Right before I click the join button on Zoom, I have a think about who I want to be. I think about what my boundaries are. If there are certain things I know I don't want to bring up that day, then I make a note of them. If I think of it kind of like a permission slip, like I have permission to not talk about X or Y or Z if I don't want to, even if it seems useful or important, or like I'm the only one in the group who will say it. If you're from one or more marginalized groups, like me, there can be pressure to represent that group or play the activist. I know I can take that pressure with me wherever I go. So after attending a few Devoted and Disgruntled events, I developed a trick. When I consider what sessions I might want to call, I notice the worries coming about whether certain issues will be discussed. So I don't brush them aside. I notice them and I write each one down. Then I go over the list and notice how I feel as I consider each one. If I feel dread or exhaustion when I think about any of them, then I cross it out. That topic just isn't one for me to call today. If any of them made me feel excited and passionate, then I add them to a list of sessions that I might want to call. You can do this process a few times a day or once for the whole weekend, just however often works for you. The second principle is wherever it happens is the right place. You may not be where you want to be right now, and Zoom also isn't the same as a large room bustling with other theater people. Whether or not you're new to D&D, this year brings us all a new opportunity. You can really make D&D space your own. You don't have to travel, you don't have to put on shoes or remember your keys or your wallet. You can make your own D&D space. And I recommend making that space ahead of time if you can. Have a chair or a desk or a bit of floor or whatever, and that's the D&D zone. Have a place you'll put your tea or your notebook or a soft toy, something that brings you comfort. And when you take your break, go somewhere else, even if it's the other side of the room or the other end of the bed. You space and D&D space. You got this. Whatever happens is the only thing that could have. That's the third principle of open space. This one, I'll be honest, is the trickiest one for me. In my experience, most conversations at D&D are exciting and often passionate and have really caring people in them. But sometimes something happens that might hurt someone. And if that does happen to you, if you are feeling hurt or alone or attacked, I want to invite you to talk to me about it. Me or one of the other wonderful Improbable team members. We're all going to have hearts visible in our names on Zoom, so you'll know who we are. I'll be in the reception room throughout the whole event. D&D doesn't have a court or police, and I think that's a good thing. We can't undo what someone else has done, but what we can help you do is make what happens next the right thing for you. That might be calling a session on something. It might be logging off and calling a friend or snuggling with a pet. We know everyone responds to things differently and in their own time. But part of the power of D&D is that if you don't like what's happening, you can make something completely different happen. We can help you think about what that might be. And if it's a change in how Improbable supports people, We have a dedicated open space producer who will be happy to talk with you about that during or after the event. The fourth open space principle is whenever it starts is the right time. So D&D is a wonderful and long event. Comfort is the key. In many ways, Zoom allows us to manage our own comfort more than ever. If you want a break from being in a session, there will be a quiet room. There's a butterfly room for talking to others, and there's the general reception space. You can also turn off your camera or leave the event completely whenever you like. You're always welcome to rejoin anytime. You can look at the timetable on the access page for the event, and if you know that the event lasts for more hours in a day than you can manage, you can schedule breaks ahead of time. When in doubt, turn the camera off, take a breath, and take a few minutes to notice how you're feeling. The best way to avoid getting overloaded is to take the breaks that you need. And trust me, no one's judging you for leaving. We're all just happy you're taking care of yourself. Whenever you are with us is the right time, and whenever you aren't, that's the right time too. Last point. When it's over, it is over. That's the last principle of open space. Because we all care a lot about the theater world and each other, we can feel full and jangly with emotions and ideas after a session ends. And after the whole event ends, I'd encourage you to have a journal or Word document or a voice recorder, video recorder around this weekend. If you're still full of things, pour them out. You'll probably want to remember them, but even if you never look at them again, that can help you feel a sense of closure and calm. If there are end-of-the-day rituals you enjoy, maybe plan to do some of them at the end of each day of this weekend. That might be taking a bath or lighting a candle, having a drink or dessert, enjoying a favorite TV show or podcast, just anything to help you transition out of D&D space and back into where you live. Okay, so to sum up, I've gone over 5 invitations or 5 top tips for D&D this weekend. 1, know your boundaries about who you want to be in the room and enjoy them. 2, have a D&D Zoom space and then have a separate physical space for breaks, naps, and all that living, relaxing stuff. 3, if something happens that really doesn't feel right, do whatever you need to do to make the next moments feel right for you. If you feel like you're able to, please come to one of us to have a chat about it. 4, take breaks. They don't have to be during breaks in the timetable. For me, they're often not, but have a system in place to make sure you take breaks throughout the day. And 5, when you're done for the day, transition back into home mode. Find a place to put all the leftover thoughts and pick an activity that helps you feel comfortable and grounded back in your own living space. So I hope some of these might be useful for you, and I'm really excited to be at D&D with all of you this weekend.